So when I first started becoming very interested in leadership, because as an instructor, that's one of the main things we're passing on, not just the martial arts skills, but leadership skills, life skills, and things of that nature. So when I first started teaching, I became very interested in leadership, and I started to look for advice about that in books written by martial artists. But you know what? It's actually a little bit sad that those books tend to be they're helpful and they're good, and there's some definitely some good writing out there, but in my opinion those are not the best leadership books. The best leadership books I have found are actually books written by people who just write on leadership. And a lot of times this is business leadership and other things, but you know what, that's actually even more applicable um, in our lives probably as a whole than some kind of leadership that's tailored only to the dojang, only to like the warrior way. So it's very helpful information, and I've really enjoyed these books. I'm reading one right now I picked up about a month ago at a bookstore by Dale Carnegie, and he's a really old writer. I think he did a lot of writing almost 100 years ago, 70 to 100 years ago, but his books still ring true today, and they're still widely read by people. And I've been reading this one passage that really rings true with what I've always been teaching my instructors and my students about leadership, which is what I've kind of called empathetic leadership. It's where, there's certainly many different forms of leadership and many different tactics in leading people, and it's not always the same for every person. But this is one thing that I find is very important in adult leadership, and can be used in some more mature young children. And I talked about this a little bit in a segment before on leadership. But basically the idea is that if I want somebody to understand how I view the world, I have to first go and understand how they view the world. I have to go to them and learn about what they enjoy, and by doing that they gain some measure of respect for me. And as they gain that respect for me, then hopefully they're more open to my ideas. So anyway, this passage by Dale Carnegie in his book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, goes like this. And he's talking about Henry Ford, who he admired as a great leader. Here's one of the best bits of advice ever given about the fine art of human relationships. If there is any one secret of success, said Henry Ford, it lies in the ability to get the other person's point of view and see things from that person's angle as well as from your own. I think it's a very telling comment, and like I said, it links in with this idea of empathetic leadership, of going to that person and learning from them. In the world, if we were all more empathetic leaders, we would definitely all much better understand each other.